Okay, let's go ahead and get started. And again, for those of you that are just logging in, at the bottom of my screen here is the link you can go to. It's a QR code. I'll just go ahead and show you this, how it looks on the screen here. There it is. You want to scan that. And you can just join any team. It doesn't matter what team to play on, red or blue. And I'll go ahead and close that. Um, I'm in Minnesota. C3 SoftWorks, we've been around for over 15 years now. It's just got out of a staff meeting, and I'm told that in August we'll turn 18. So we're approaching the 20-year mark. I've been with the company since the beginning. Prior to working with C3 SoftWorks, I worked in another game-oriented software company. Then the word gamification even wasn't even around. So I've been doing this for a long time, working with trainers and educators in ways to keep their content interesting, keep it engaging, help with retention. And I'll just share a few thoughts of my own in this webinar. Again, a lot of the stuff you guys kind of already know or maybe already thinking about, but at least give you some ideas that as we move through this session here, this is about a half an hour session, to give you some ideas you can apply to your own training, hopefully. So again, in this session today, I'm try to focus on how you're using games as an actual teaching tool versus just a way to have some fun. There's nothing wrong with having fun in training, but one of the key concepts that we have at C3 SoftWorks, our mission is to use the software as an actual teaching tool, almost a day-to-day thing like you're using PowerPoint, really, or any other kinds of e-learning material as well. So you're using this to deliver content in a meaningful way. The software program that we're currently using right now, at this very minute, is called Dash. It's one of the 10 templates in the Bravo Zone toolkit, and I'll show you the toolkit, the Bravo Zone platform here in just a few minutes after I cover some of these key questions. And I'll get into how you can use Bravo Zone both in the classroom and LMS. I'm going to go ahead and hide this. This is the little preview pane that I'm just showing you on the right-hand side. Just gives you an idea how it looks on a user side. I'm going to hide this for now. The first question is a kind of a word cloud style question. When someone asks you, let's play a game, what goes on in your head? What's the first thought? Go ahead and enter in your answer here. First one comes competitive, yay. And I'll go ahead and enter in one myself here. Maybe I can't do that yet. It's weird. Couple of words that pop in. The reason why I asked this question, guys, is the whole concept with introducing games in training, it means different things to different people. Oftentimes when I ask this question in some of the other webinars, I often get the word ugh. And that's valid. A lot of folks don't necessarily want to play a game per se. They want to just get into the material and start, give me the facts and let's move on. But I think it's important to keep that in mind anytime we introduce a game concept, that it can mean different things to different people. I myself don't really like games, ironically. When my wife introduces a game at home, I tend to push back. It's like, do we have to play? But ironically, once I'm in the game, I'm competitive. I'm having a good time. I'm engaged, and I want to win. So I'm in it. And so we all approach it a little differently. Go ahead and hide this thing here. So gamification, we all know what it kind of is, what it means. It's different things to different people, but the bottom line is this: you're applying some kind of game element, whatever it is, to your task at hand, to your curriculum, whatever it is, to encourage retention, engagement, and help motivate the user and create that desired outcome. So gamification, it's a term that's bandied about all over the place, means different things to different people, but it's really just applying some game aspect to your material. So some things, key objectives that I like to share with trainers that sometimes get overlooked is, what is the overall objective in your learning? Hold on one second here. Sorry about that. Got a noisy cat at home that likes to come in when I do these sessions. Is, what is your overall objective when you're introducing a game? Is it to teach? Is it to motivate? Is it to introduce new material? Is it to recap or do an assessment? Lots of things you want to kind of consider when you're about to use a game. The thing that I like to remind folks is, use the moments in your session, just like you would anything else, but use a game to uncover knowledge gaps. How are you showing, with a percentage of where everyone's at in a room, and what are you doing with that? Especially in a live setting or a webinar setting. How are you uncovering those aha moments in your training and using that to elaborate or go further in your material? It's not just about right or wrong answers, but what do you want to do with that material as you move through it? Are you encouraging feedback and discussion? This is true with any kind of training that you're doing, but I often find that elaborating or allow people to vocalize their answers is a powerful way to learn and to flesh out things. So bottom line is this: it's less about the game sometimes, and it's just more about using a game to deliver your content in a more interesting way. So I try not to get too keyed up on points and awards and all that sometimes, and just using a game to illustrate your material in a fun way. Second question. So what are the following, what's the following rather should be considered when using a game for your training? Go ahead and select all that apply here. Clear ground rules, knowing your students, is there a prize or reward, length of time, a clear objective. So clear ground rules, yeah, you got to have a game that's gonna make sense, right? Whatever it is. If it doesn't have a format that everyone can follow, people are going to get frustrated or they're going to check out. So that's kind of basic. Where are your students coming from? Is this material that they kind of should already know? Or is it new material? And I love the fact that you can bring a game in and introduce new concepts or new material to a group. It's a great way to get them to learn something. They'll fail a little bit, and failing is just fine. But you can go back later and reintroduce another game and see how much they've learned based on that. So where your students are coming from, how much they know the information is important. If the questions are too difficult or too challenging, people are going to tend to check out. So you kind of have to gauge that a little bit. Are there prizes, awards? This is something that I've never really got too keyed up about. People like to compete in general. Sometimes it's just a matter of recognizing the winning person or the winning team, or you don't even have to do that. You can hide the leaderboard in some of these formats. So it's not even about winning or losing. It's just you're using a game to deliver your material. Length of time is important. This is probably the number one thing that I hear from trainers is, well, we ran out of time. We were going to run a game and we only got halfway through it at the very end of the session. Now, it's like anything else. You've got to carve out a chunk of time, whether it's at the end of your session, or sometimes it's throughout the session. If you're doing, let's say, a training game or a 2-hour session delivering content, maybe you want to pepper a few minutes throughout your session with a game question. So you're still delivering content, say in PowerPoint or whatever it is, but you come back to the game and keep peppering them with questions. That keeps them on the edge of their seat a little bit more. So consider how you would use a game throughout your day or your session, and make sure you carve out enough time. And then a clear objective. Why are we doing this today? Why are we using a game? Explaining the basic fundamentals of what's going on so that they're in it, they're ready they're invested, and they're not just waiting for it to end. So these are all considerations when you're using a game in your training. Again, we're using power percentages here. When we're playing this in a facilitator-led environment, I can see where everyone's at in the room. So this is kind of a way to go through that and isolate those correct or incorrect answers. In this case, they're all correct. Good job. All right, next question. Let's just fill in the blanks. This TV game show was a catalyst to gamification we see today. It was a big catalyst, rather. Go ahead and just type in your answer. Good job, KH. You got the answer correct first. So these are little gamification things you can do with Dash, adding bonus points for the first correct answer, those kinds of things. There's a little hint there. It obviously starts with J. Timers can be adjusted in Bravo Zone. I've got a timer that is allowing you to kind of focus on the question and get your answer in. It's fairly quick. Yeah, Jeopardy. It is still used today. I would say this is probably the most popular game format today, not just in the corporate world, but also what we see on TV. It's still played every day. And one of the templates that we offer in Bravo Zone, we call it Quiz Show. We don't call it Jeopardy, but it has that familiar grid with bonus points and that kind of thing. And you can use it in the classroom. You can use it for e-learning. But this format is very familiar to people, and that's why we use it. That's why it's a kind of a go-to. The idea that you don't really have to introduce the rules that much because we all kind of get how it's played. Most of us do anyway. It allows you to strategize. What kind of category do you want to start out with, and what level of difficulty do you want to go with? So it allows the teams to kind of talk with one another and decide which direction they want to go in. So lots of fun things you can do with that. So I don't know if anyone's not playing on Vikings team or it's just not doing well today, but that's okay. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is encouraged to continue. That counts. And the reason why I put that in there is because games are an excellent way to fail in a non-threatening way. Just can't say it any easier. We learn by failing, and it's okay to get answers incorrect, especially in when you're introducing material sometimes. And so it's that failure or that using a game to fail is an excellent way to learn sometimes. One of the guys I work with who heads up product development for us, his name is John Dillon. He normally would invite him in on the session today, but he's been pulled away. John has been a long-time advocate of using games before even C3 SoftWorks. He's been training paramedics and EMT operators, police, fire, you name it, in ways to use games in his own training. And John does just that. He'll introduce concepts, and he'll kind of want to pull out incorrect answers because he isolates that. And it's an excellent way to kind of, just kind of get into the weeds with why that answer is wrong and hear it and how to correct it. So he's an excellent advocate of not just using a game to teach, but also to pull out incorrect answers sometimes. He says to highlight the misconceptions, things that we think we know, but we don't. He tries to find those misconceptions and pull them out because it's that aha moment that really makes learning stick. He loves discussions in his session. He'll sometimes take 5-10 minutes on a question. You're already doing that in PowerPoint. You're already spending sometimes 3-5 minutes on a slide. Well, he's doing that same thing with his game questions or his preview slides. He's got little bullet points in the Bravo Zone where he'll talk about key information. It's not just questions and answers, but he's delivering material throughout. And obviously he's using ways to identify gaps in the training, taking those moments where maybe it's 5% gave him the correct answer and really dig down into that material and find out why they've answered the way they have. So He loves the wrong answers. All right, last question, and then we're going to get into the Bravo Zone suite here. If you were to travel to Minnesota, that's where we're located here, and what fun activity would you choose? Click on any portion of the image. You got ice fishing. We've got the Mall of America. We've got skiing. Nordic skiing is a big thing here. We don't have a lot of skiing hills. And ice sculptures. It gets pretty cold in Minnesota, obviously, and you can create all kinds of weird ice sculptures in your front lawn. These are actual jeans that have been soaked in water and then frozen so they stand upright. Let's see where everyone's at. So, Bobby, you're the only one that got in for some reason. So I think some of you might be just watching, and that's okay. Good job, Bobby. A Mall of America is a great place to be around this time, although we've had some mild weather recently. So anyway, this is using an image to select your answer. It's an image marker. Lots of different question styles in Bravo Zone. It's not all just multiple choice, but you can do things like images, a word cloud, fill in the blanks, that Jeopardy style question. These are just samples of ways you can create your own questions in the format. All right, so let's get into the Bravo Zone suite here. If you're not familiar with the software, there are 10 different templates. We use the dash format here, and they all can be used both in the classroom setting or at LMS. I'm going to go ahead and just use this little gear window here. And I'm going to end the session. And this takes me right to the Bravo Zone itself. So if anyone want to utilize the software after the webinar, we will send you all an email with a recording of this session. And you're welcome to log on and create a trial. Normally the trial will last 14 days, but when you fill out a form on the trial that you attended a webinar, we'll extend that automatically so that you'll have access through the end of March. So you have quite a bit of time to use the software in March if you want to create your own games. There's no restrictions. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You just decide what format you want to choose to get started with. Some of these games are already familiar to you, like Quiz Show or Billionaire. These are Hollywood-style games. Spin-off is more like roulette, like on Las Vegas, where your categories reside on a wheel, and you can spin that wheel, and it will land on a category randomly, or you can fix the wheel like Vegas does, and you can just kind of choose where they go next. These two are battle sequences, racing themes that we've created to add a little fun to your session. You can also use it in the classroom or e-learning. These three templates down here, we used Dash in the webinar today, are ways, are a little bit more of a way to deliver content that has any kind of real theme to it, but still provides that engagement factor. Confidence takes your questions a little further. Not only will you ask the questions to your students, but you will also ask them their level of confidence on their answer, and that will determine their points that they're awarded. So it's a knowledge check. It's a little bit of a waiver, so to speak, that they have to give before they submit their answer, and that will determine their points. You'll track all this information as well, so you can really get a bird's eye view of just how confident they are on the material, or how they think they're confident on the material, and then work with that information accordingly. These two templates are for self-paced learning. We designed them for mobile learning, but you can use them on a PC as well. Excellent tools for creating quizzes and surveys and that kind of thing. What I recommend doing before you get into the software, if you're not familiar with some of these games, just go up here under Content and click the Sample Games page. Here you'll get a sampling of all of these games and how you can use them. They'll help you strategize on how you use a game. You can even make a copy of a game if you'd like, and make it your own. Our marketing department has done a nice job at kind of jazzing these game formats up, and then you can use the graphics if you wish with your own material if you'd like to do so. So copying is simply just that. Click the copy button and you'll find it under the My Content section. let's go ahead and create something real quick here. I'm going to go to the dash format since that's what I just showed you. Click Start. You want to give it a title. That's a very creative name, Webinar 101. And then decide if you want to use it for instructor-led or self-paced. Instructor-led, that QR code is going to appear automatically so that your students can log on using their mobile devices. If you don't use mobile devices, that's okay. You can use PCs. You need to have some kind of device that they can go to play the quiz. And then if you use self-paced, really all that happens is a SCORM option is going to give to you, is going to be available to you to use in your learning management system. So that's ready for you, or you can just create a link. It'll create a link for you, and you can embed that link anywhere to have the students access the quiz that way. So that's really the two different entities there. And then we simply decide if you want to play it in a game format, which we do. And then one of the things we just introduced into BravoZone that I won't really get too far into the weeds here, but the ability now to use AI to create content. If I click this button, it will ask me if I want to bring in a chunk of text, for instance, or maybe it's a web page that maybe it's someplace on our website, or maybe it's a document that I want to bring in, a PDF or actually bringing in all kinds of documents that you can bring in. And then to tell BravoZone, I want to create, say, 15 questions, and I want multiple choice. I want to create some slides, some fill in the blanks, whatever. And the Bravo Assist will auto-generate all of that material on this page, and then you can decide if it's accurate, if it makes sense. We all know that AI doesn't always give us what we want, but in terms of chopping wood, it's a really useful tool. So for just basic content, getting it in the material into BravoZone, it's a fast way to do that if you can use AI. This is an opt-in only. So some of you may have policies in place that can't use AI, what have you. That's okay. There's an opt-in only, so you can turn this feature off if you want. We just introduced this concept or this function a couple of weeks ago, and I'm pretty excited about it. The other thing you can start doing too in March is bringing an entire PowerPoint presentation and generating questions around that as well. Again, it's all, you have to decide if it's accurate, if it makes sense, but to bring in an entire deck and then bring that in to BravoZone, you can do that as well. That'll all be available on this page. Right now it's in development. Let's say we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to go in and create questions, and that's fine. That's just the way that everyone's been using for almost 20 years now. Just simply click Add Question here, and then it's very basic. It's a very intuitive format. It defaults to multiple choice. On the right-hand side is what you'll see the participant side, how it will be viewed. But if you want to mix it up, there's multiple question formats to choose from. We were using word cloud, that first question that I showed you, where you'll get a myriad of different answers that show up in kind of a visual way. It's more of a polling style question, but you get an idea how that works. All kinds of different formats to choose from. The other thing that I like to make sure I cover is that, again, this is a content delivery tool. All of the games are going to allow you to add information before and after and during your question format. So if you use a preview slide, it's just that. It's going to show up automatically before your question is even shown. It's allowing you to go over some key information, whether that's PowerPoint or a picture or whatever it is. It's going to allow you to introduce material in there. Then you have your question, and then the summary slide. Summary is going to allow you to elaborate on the answer, go a little deeper. So you decide if you want to use these slides, but this is again taking it beyond just right and wrong questions and making this more of a delivery tool. You could string a series of slides together if you wanted to in Bravo Zone. So it's not just one slide after the question, but a myriad of multiple different slides if you want to do so. The Bravo Zone also allows you to bring in media. If you click the Add Media button, you get all these options up in here to choose from. It does now have a new AI function where if you tell the software what you want, it will create it through this Bravo Assist, this AI imaging. And then you can tweak it. If you want to change the image, you can do so. So explore this. If you haven't already used AI for imaging, it's pretty cool. The bottom line is this: if you create a very specific description, it will give you kind of what you're looking for. Open source is not so accurate. If you're looking for very generic kinds of things, you can find things on the web. I recommend, if you're not finding it through AI, just upload your own image or a video or anything like that. There's really no size limits either. You can pretty much bring in whatever you need to. Let's go ahead and cancel out of this. The other part of this platform is the library. This is a very unique way to store all of your content in one location. And if you do that, you can then take that question, create a folder, add it to that folder, and then reuse that game or that question at any time. So let's take this question and drag it in here, and this question, and let's see, doesn't matter, and drop it in here. Okay? It's just a real fast, easy way to create content. And if you're using that Bravo Assist, where you're auto-generating, say, 15 questions and answers at a time, you may want to create a folder and drag those questions over for later use. So it's just a fast, easy way to reuse material using the library. Now, if you make any changes in the library, don't worry about it. It's not going to affect the game itself. Likewise, if you make a change here, it doesn't affect the library. So they're basically two separate platforms that work side by side. And the rest of the software, guys, you just kind of use the linear bar up here to kind of navigate where you want to go next. So graphically, you can make changes to the game board itself. Some of the games give you more real estate to work with. If you want to create a background for your game, you can do so. The logo, obviously, you can put your own company insignia or logo on the game board, colors and that kind of thing. But it's pretty easy layout in that terms. And then options. How do you want to play this game in team mode or individual style? Individual style meaning just that each person plays against one another and on a leaderboard. And you can just kind of show that leaderboard if you want. If you want some competition going on, or you can hide the leaderboard. In team mode, everyone's playing on a team. You can have unequal numbers on a team. You can have 3 people on one team and 15 people on another. It does not matter. It's just software will tabulate the percentage of the correct scores. So I usually try to keep this down to select 2 or 3 teams to play, and then of course avatars can all be customized. You can use the AI generator to do that as well, and then all these other little tweaks to how the game is going to be played using bonus rounds, and then how your students will log on to the session. You can ask them for more details, like an email address, that kind of thing, more of a sign-in approach. And the reason for that is you may want to be tracking the reports. Bravo Zone acts as a reporting function as well. So even if you're in a classroom setting and you want that report, all up here is under reports. You can go to self-paced or instructor-led and track those scores as well. As long as they're signing in, they're typing their name in, you'll be able to identify the students and can look at reports. And then when you're ready, just go to Publish. Publishing just kind of locks everything in place. It says your game is ready to play, and click OK. Now, if it's a self-paced game, you'll have an e-learning link that you can copy and paste that anywhere you want, or you can use under Options. If it's self-paced, you'll see a SCORM setting that you can download the SCORM file as well. So you can do a couple of things with that. But publishing will lock everything in place. It just safeguards to make sure your game is complete. All of the answers are in there. Everything is ready to go. If it's not, it will tell you where you need to go to make those changes. So it's just a kind of safeguard your quiz. And then just click play, or you can go up here under content, go to my content, find the quiz that you're creating, go over here under actions, and then later on you can click edit or play or any of these other options that you can use in your training. Guys, that's about it. That's kind of takes you through the concept of using a game. I used a game in a webinar, and then also show you a little bit on how you can create your own. Again, after the session today, we'll send you out an email. You're welcome to create your own format, your own trial, and we'll extend that out through March. As long as you type in under how you heard about it, just type in something about the webinar or anything else. We'll make sure you get an extension on that trial as a thank you. If anyone has any questions, feel free to send them to me. My contact information will be on that email. If you want to set up a webinar or a walkthrough, I'm happy to do that as well. If you need to get into a little bit more in the weeds with the software. Does anybody have any questions right now? Anything? Feel free to send them to me through the chat window. So we have a few folks that are still. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.